one of the probably the first match I've ever seen you in. This is after the fact. Was you wrestling Dory and Terry Funk in a tag match? I can't remember who your partner was,
They
but
pinned me with a headlock.
they pinned you with a headlock. That's exactly where I was going. And do you know what? They did it so believably. And I just one of those things. I know you. This might come to the screen behind you as well. But a lot of wrestlers today could watch that and really learn something. It's like, man, you can any move if you do it well enough can be a finish.
Or if you do it real enough,
Yeah.
you're gonna pin the guy anyway, or he's gonna tap out. But it was something that Terry and Dory, that was a very early learning moment too. Of maybe some of my sell was a way too over the top, but I'd rather oversell at that point than undersell it, especially for the Funks with the reputation they had. But if they do that like over and over and over again, I think they tug in and out maybe 8 to 10 times, and then literally headlock takeover pin and got a pretty decent reaction. The people didn't crap on it. And for me, I was like, wow, I didn't come out of that saying, oh, I just got pinned with a headlock. And I was like, they were wrenching me up, James. It was no joke. And, they were testing a kid. They didn't try to cauliflower my ear up. And they had told me afterwards they could have very easily have done that. And they didn't want to, because I've always been respectful around them, even as early as I was kind of exposed to them. So that was nice. But then I could have very easily had to wear these headphones like Josh Alexander. I have to wear the head thing all the time.
How many times did you wrestle Terry over in your career? Because obviously we'll probably get to Barely Legal quite soon, actually. But how many times over the ECW years did you wrestle Terry?
I'm trying to think. Like, I know I wrestled Terry, obviously, at the BWO when I was on that run, and we were wrestling a lot of house shows here and there. And I was getting experience with him of how to do what I didn't do against Jannetty in that first match, when to open up and just fight all the time. Because Terry will lay into you, and it was good learning experience. But when I was with Raven, I'm trying to think. I'm assuming I bumped into Terry as a heel with Raven before the BWO, but I don't think we did, because we always had Tommy or Luna. Then we had, on our side, Brian Lee, and then the Pitbulls, and the Pitbulls went with Dreamer. There was all that interaction, but I don't think Terry came into that until the thing with Mick, and then we didn't really touch until we were both baby faces. But I'd say probably maybe 10 times, never enough. How about if I just say that? I could never share a ring enough nor learn enough with somebody like Terry Funk. And when you have those opportunities as a young wrestler, you try to make it into as long of a feud as possible, so you can get every bit out of it what you want.
Did Terry give you any verbal advice that was not that worth taking, because I'm sure everything he said was worth taking as advice, but anything specific to you that you took to heart, rather than not just learning in the ring, but something in the back that he may have said to you?
Well, Terry admired the fact that I came into the business just willing to learn, and I made my mistakes as a young guy. The clueless putz thing was real. I was just learning how to navigate wrestling and navigate life at that time. But Terry appreciated that whatever happened, I never came to him with anything but what can I do for you, and can you please teach me this? Can I learn? I think the humility, or at least the willingness to learn from him and follow, and not have any preconceived notions. Because at the time I had the biggest push of my life with the big BWO, and as excited as I was, and that could have came off as arrogant sometimes to some people, Terry understood when it came time, I would defer to him, or I would surrender and say, this is a veteran, this is a legend, and then, just whatever he had to offer. And that's what he would say to me too. He's like, as long as you keep this attitude and you always want to do for others, because Terry was really known, even though he was so intense and he could do everything. If you watch Terry Funk's matches, they are so selfless and giving to the other person or people that are around him, including myself. And that's the biggest lesson, just by example, what I learned. If it's good enough for Terry to sell, if Terry's not too good to do a job or to put somebody over or to look vulnerable, then what right do any of us have?